bro, forever. The Three Kings, that era.
Yeah.
The Three Kings,
That should have happened.
that era.
Yeah.
That, bro, if we went to Nigeria or anywhere in Africa, Morocco, South Africa, bro, that era will never, ever be, I don't want to say it's never, ever be replaced, but like it's just something that's
It was a special
forever.
moment.
It was special in
Yeah.
history, you know, and I'm proud. I feel proud to be part of that, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's bigger than that. Even someone said to me when Kumaru was about to fight Tyron Woodley to win the belt, I remember that, I don't know where I was, but they asked me on the podium like, oh, does a part of you hope that Kumaru doesn't win so you could be the first African champion? I was like,
What?
Yuck.
Damn.
I was like, what kind of mentality do you have to have
Yeah.
that you think, like, I would want my boy to lose so I can be the first? I'm like, no. His win is my win.
That question comes from abundance.
Yeah, thank
when
you.
you have abundance, you don't even think about
even like
scarcity.
scarcity mindset, that's where that comes from. But like, I would never. No, that's
When you come from scarcity, the idea of abundance is incredible, right? You're like, I want 3 African champions.
Yeah,
That's the most amazing. When you come from abundance, the idea of scarcity is really exciting. So that person who asked you it is rich.
Some rich journal.
Yeah.
Speaking of African champions, how you feel about Francis not staying with the UFC, having to move on to it?
I think so. I feel like the story's not over. Even like when this fucking thing with One Championship came out, they're like, oh, we are withdrawing from the bidding to. But that was a play because Francis came to them and was honest. Like, look, I got this deal. Can you guys match this? They couldn't match it. So to save face, they were like,
they protected themselves.
But that was stupid. And then when that happened, I saw the narrative. The streets was like, oh, he made a mistake. Yeah, no one wants it, this and that. But I'm like, bro, chill. He signed with the PFL. Give it time. Give it time. Let him do his thing. Because the story's still being written. Also, he's the guy that, look, before the UFC, how he got to Paris. Have you heard that story?
Yeah. It's crazy.
He's not a guy that gives
He
up.
told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had him on the pod when we were in Miami.
Oh, no way.
He called in.
He zoomed in, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have I seen this?
Maybe. But yeah, he's the man.
Yeah, he is. So he's not a guy that gives up easily. He's not a guy that just, like, folds, you know? Give it time. Give it time. I think he's making the right call. PFL. Also, what I liked is even, like, bringing up the fighter he's fighting, they're going to get paid at least $1 million.
Bro, incredible.
Yeah.
And then what that does is,
Incredible.
like, guys who want to fight, they're like, if I fight Francis, that's a money fight for me.
Yeah.
You know? And, yeah, give it time. Things are happening, but give it time. The story will unfold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool to see him come out victorious.
Yeah. Oh, no, I think I'm champion. I think he's going to get it done.
Yeah.
And I think also he's going to come back to the UFC.
That's the thing that's quite interesting.
No, he will.
Yeah.
He will. I think, this is business. This is business.
Yeah. Or is there a world where the 3 kings go to PFL?
I didn't want to ask if we can add to that if you need to, but yeah.
I think I'm going to be in the look, for me, as a fan, it's not even about me. People, you know, like, it's not, I've been a fan of the UFC for so long. I think this is where my career is going to, that's it. I'm not doing no fucking boxing after this, nothing like that, regardless of what you say about Canelo. I know your fucking mustache is twinging. But regardless, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We gotta do one. We gotta do
I've
one.
been boxing. I'm ready. I don't want to.
Dude,
it's limited.
one-
It's limited. It's limited.
I'm trying to think
fighting.
who you would fight.
Just
who
put
you
50
would
million in
fight.
front of me. We'll see. I never seen that yet. Man,
Who's big enough? There's no one big enough for you yet.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Nah, but no, yeah.
Boxing needs a renaissance. If boxing has a renaissance,
And
where
my
they're
weight
like-
class as well is just like, nah.
Nah.
Like, no.
185. I mean, like, no, he doesn't have. There's no money in it. That's the thing. That's the only
It's gotta
problem.
be something. Yeah,
if
it's
there
gotta be
was some
someone that's-
money,
yeah,
if there was
so-
an absolute
Most is limited.
superstar-
Like, I want at least let me kick him.
No.
At least. Yeah, there we go. It's not gonna
Because then
happen.
it's too easy.
Yeah, you'll beat
Okay,
the
how about
shit out
this?
of him.
Okay, how about this? They can box, I can kick. I won't throw any punches. Just
No,
set up.
still
just set
no.
up.
But what we could do is one round. What they do with Demetrius Johnson and Rod Tang.
Oh, no, that's bad. That's a bad idea. If they want to box in the first round and then they want to do kickboxing in the second round, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But it's awesome also.
Look,
Like-
I do well for myself. I'm more worried about the guys coming up because I'm such a big fan of the UFC, regardless of what people might think or have their opinions about the company. Because, look, this is business and it's cutthroat. It's Vegas. It's the fucking devil's asshole. But I want people who fight in the UFC, even when they come into the UFC, I want it to be like you're being drafted into the NFL. I don't want a guy who's fighting in the, because I have teammates who just, like, Diamond is going to the UFC. He's doing well for himself, but he also has businesses on the side. But sometimes there's other, like you have to like do a few PTs here and there. I don't want that for a guy who has the UFC banner on their chest. I want it to be a prestigious thing where it's like,
PTs is personal training.
yeah, personal training. Yeah, my bad. It's prestigious to be in the UFC. Like, yo, you're a UFC fighter. I want them to be able to like.
You want it to be once you're in the UFC,
You're set.
that's the only job you have.
Thank you. That's what I want. So I think, and I really want this to be when I'm done with the UFC, I'm done with fighting. I'll move on to other things.
What if the UFC had a different division in the same way that like baseball has different divisions, and where it's like here's UFC.
Like
well,
AAA.
in America, they have like AAA, AA, single A. So like
You lost me.
basically the major leagues, everybody's
G League?
everybody's making crazy money. In the NBA, they have the G League, but it's like everybody's making crazy money in the majors, and then they have a subdivision
What,
where
the WNBA?
I mean,
Oh, no, I'm
No,
asking.
that's not accurate because they don't make money.
No, I'm asking.
no, they had the G League where the guys who were like trying to make it into
Girls
the NBA
League.
go.
Oh, no, my bad. Sorry. No, I'm asking. It's a question.
He's curious,
I
bro.
can ask
Come on.
questions.
I know.
I'm curious.
He's not from this country,
I
man.
don't
You
know
gotta explain.
sports.
He's a foreigner.
I don't
He's
know
a
sports.
foreigner.
He's a football.
I'm just
Listen,
new here.
We saw you take a shot in the documentary. You don't know basketball.
Yeah. Even the Chinese people were like, not Kobe Bryant. Not Kobe Bryant.
Not going.
Look at Drake called Chance once time. I sent Drake Chance, my boy, shooting a shot. He calls it, it's a struggle jumper.
No.
Yeah, it's
That
like,
was a struggle jumper.
Yeah.
That was a struggle jumper.
hey, man.
This is what I love
I'm not
about-
quitting my day job anytime
This is
soon,
what I
put it
love
that
about the
way.
documentary. They left in the miss. You could have edited out the miss.
Gotta
It was
show
a
your
heartbreak.
highs, gotta show your lows.
Exactly.
Highs and lows.
It's a
Gotta
different
show them
level of
all.
vulnerability,
Yeah.
Anyway, like, what if the UFC goes, okay, here's our subdivision, and you can still have them on the major UFC fights. You can have them on the undercard. You can have whatever. And then these are the top fighters. Then all these people that are part of the upper echelon are making so much money, and that's the NFL.
That's Contender Series.
yeah, like
Kind of.
But
isn't
they're
it?
all signed to the UFC. If,
Yeah,
if
but
it's G League and then NBA, when people in the G League aren't making enough money or are making like NBA money, you're not upset because you're like, oh, this is the G League. You have to make it up to the
their
NBA.
pay-per-view nights.
Yeah.
You can watch a few of the earlier fights on ESPN,
Yeah.
and then you have to go to the
pay-per-view.
pay-per-view.
No, I
That's like
get-
the way they feed you the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like, it's enticing. You feel like, oh,
I
these
feel
fights
like
are good.
that's
Oh,
the
everybody
way.
feels like that's
You
what
haven't
they do.
made it to pay-per-view yet.
Yeah.
So you're right there.
I get that,
Yeah.
but I think the average person is going, all these people are signed to the UFC. And what you were just saying is you want the UFC to be the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think the way to do that is sign all the same guys, but create a subdivision. And then just be like, this is the UFC Development League or the UFC G or whatever the fuck it was. And then it's just like, so it's like, yeah, you're going to make 50 grand a fight or 30 grand a fight, but you're doing that for the opportunity to make millions a fight.
Even fuck billions, even just 50 grand a fight, even or 30 grand for your UFC debut, like entry level. 30 grand.
Think
And
about it. You
also-
do that 3 times a year.
Also, they pay for all your corners and hotels, so you don't have to fly.
that's different.
Yeah, no.
That's
but like
different
they have,
game now.
Bro, they just merged with WME. It's
Yeah.
a $21.4 billion company.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you got money. You got money.
What are they getting
So-
now?
Huh?
What are people getting now? Because I don't know, and I'm sure a lot of people.
Everyone's
listen.
different. My UFC debut, I made 6 figures, and I made a 50K bonus. So I was blessed because I did my work before I got into the UFC. I cultivated, I farmed my socials, I did my fights.
Yeah, you were coveted.
Yeah, I was coveted. Yeah.
There's a difference between a guy who
Comes in.
like Charles Oliveira's first fight was probably
Yeah.
for like a stick of corn. You know, but he's become the no, but with the mayonnaise and the
put butter on it,
cheese
the
and the butter and
the
everything. Yeah,
salt, the red,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, but now,
They can't fight.
you know what I mean. But he became the champion.
Fight of the night, carnitas. That's crazy.
You get protein.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I want it to be like, I honestly mean that. And I'm just a fan, man. I'm
Yeah.
just a fan. Like, it's crazy for me even doing this shit because I remember watching the UFC back in the day. I used to go to Blockbuster or Video Easy. Do you guys have that?
No.
No, back in the day.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, but we used to like get the
old UFC fights.
You know, the DVDs. I'd watch them. Silver, Dan Henderson, Rampage Jackson, Granny Couture. Such a fan. So for me to even be in this position now doing this shit, it's a blessing. And I really feel like it's the best sport in the world. I really feel like it's the best spectacle. Bro, I know this shit because nigga, when a fighter walks into a room, it's different.